Hey again, this is Chef Reis again. It's a nice, beautiful, ugly day outside this morning. It's dreary, it's rainy, it's miserable. Typical month of April and May has been miserable like this. So for a nice, cool day today, and I think the temperature is supposed to be in the 50s, I'm gonna make one of my favorite soups to make. This soup's been around with me for quite a few years. Every hotel, every restaurant that I worked in, I've always been serving this soup. This is my favorite clam chowder, New England style clam chowder. It's been in the Hilton's menu for a long time. It's been in every menu as long as I remember. Started up in Hartford, Connecticut, then into Charlotte, and then now Harrisburg. It's not a very hard soup to make. Very simple to make, and it's amazing. It tastes so good at the end of the day. At the end of the day, even for breakfast, lunch, dinner, you can get it anytime. It's gorgeous. You can serve this with, people up in New England, they serve it with the oyster crackers, but you can serve it with anything. What I'm also making today, I'm making some Portuguese rolls, and I might have one of their Portuguese rolls with this clam chowder. So we'll be back to let you know all the ingredients, and we go from there. So enjoy it, pay attention. Of course, the first thing you need chopped clams. You need chopped clams and you need clam juice. Okay, the chopped clams, you can either do two things. You can either buy the big hogs and cook them with some stock and some water and then save the juice for or you can buy the canned clams, and there's a canned clams that have enough juice in them, or you can just buy chopped clams or clam juice and use that. I got some celery, some salt, some butter, some onions, some potatoes, some light cream or milk or heavy cream, depending on what you want to use. Most of the soups up in New England, they might use milk or light cream, and bacon, or you can use bacon or you can use pancetta. I'm going to use bacon for this soup, but you can just about use, pancetta if you like to. So you got the bacon, salt, pepper, butter, onions, potatoes, celery, light cream or milk or heavy cream, flour to make the roux to thicken up the soup, clams, and the clam juice. And of course you need a big pot to make the soup. This is probably going to make a gallon of soup. And one thing that I forgot to tell you, of course you need the two secret ingredients, which is parsley and thyme. So that's the two seasonings that I'm going to throw in at the end. So, okay, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to dice the onions. I'm going to cut them in half. I'm going to cut them, and I'm going to dice them. Cut them in half again, depending how big they are. Okay. And somebody told me the other day when I'm doing this, I should be singing. The only songs that I usually sing is "Que sera, sera," whatever will be, will be. Those are the songs that I sing all the time. I'm always singing in the kitchen, so people are not used to me not singing in my videos. But so I'm going in a small dice, not big one. I'm going to put that to the side. I want to take some bacon, or the pancetta. If you like the pancetta or bacon, I'm going to dice that up also, about the same size. Okay. It's not, just make sure you get a nice sharp knife so you don't cut your fingers. It's very important. If you don't want to put bacon in it, you don't have to put bacon in it. Most New England clam chowders, actually all New England clam chowders, you can use bacon. I've seen people use pork fat, lard. You can use a lot of things you want. And I'm going to take the celery. I'm going to dice the celery up too. Okay, so pretty much can do all that. While you're doing that, I'm going to turn the pot on, high heat, and I'm going to throw the pancetta bacon in there first. See what I got? I threw the celery and the onions in there right now after the bacon. And I'm gonna cook a little bit, not too long. Just nice caramelize them a little bit. Okay, meanwhile, what I do while the celery and onions are cooking, I'm gonna dice the potatoes. Pretty much to dice the potatoes right there, I took the one side off and I laid the potato flat down. But one thing you don't wanna do, you know, like you keep saying, knives do cut. You always cut something that you don't want to cut, so like cut your fingers instead of the potato. So make sure the potato, whenever you're cutting anything that's round, you always cut the flat down, make it flat. Okay, so you dice the potatoes up without cutting yourself, and then you can just take all the ends, the rounded ends, and you cut those by itself, so don't cut your fingers. Okay. So as soon as you got all the diced potatoes in there, as you can see, the potatoes, and the celery and onions, and pretty much everything's pretty much all cooked, ready to go in there. So now I'm going to throw the butter in there, and what I'm doing now, I'm going to make the roux. So I'm going to throw the butter to make it's the grease that you need to add the flour to. So I'm going to throw the butter in there now. Since the vegetables, I don't want to get the butter brown, so I'm just going to turn the butter in there and just kind of melt it down, and then add my flour to it. Okay, so I threw the butter in there, and I'm going to melt the butter in there. Like I said, I want to brown the butter. I want the soup to come out light, so I don't want to brown the butter. As you can see, when I saute the bacon and the onions, it's already a little caramelized in the bottom. I don't really want to caramelize it too much because I want to keep it nice and creamy. I'm going to continue with the potatoes. And I'm going to stick it back in the water so they don't turn brown. Got one last potato. Once upon a time there was a tavern where we used to have a glass or two. Those were the days, my friend. Like I said, I put the potatoes back in the water so they don't turn brown. And if you drop one on the floor, my dog is always there, ready to grab anything that falls on the floor. He's like my vacuum cleaner. Doesn't like everything, but almost everything. Okay, all the butter and the thing is all clarified, all melted up right now. So now I'm gonna add the flour to it. And another thing that I did, instead of throwing the raw potatoes in the soup as I'm gonna cook the potatoes on the side. I'm gonna save the juice and throw the juice and the potatoes back in it, because very important, if you're making a sauce, and this is gonna be like a sauce, you want to make sure the sauce is, you leave as less ingredients, as chunky ingredients as possible after you have the flour to it. So it's going to be equal parts of flour to equal parts of grease or butter. All right? So I add the flour to it, and then I'm going to stir it up until it forms like a paste. I'm going to make sure I get all the lumps out. So it's a nice smooth paste. You have to have one little more cup. See? The only thing you don't want to do, you don't want to put, if you put the flour in here, don't let it get too brown, because you're not making a brown roux. A brown roux is used to make a brown sauce, but since I am making a white sauce or a cream, light soup, I'll make sure I don't want to caramelize and brown the roux too much. And now what I did, I added the clam juice to it, and I'm going to stir it up a little bit. I'm going to turn now with the whip, so I can make sure I whip all my roux in there. So there's no lumps in there. The only lumps I want to see in there is the potatoes, the clams, onions, and the celery. Everything else should be a nice smooth consistency. Okay, and this is the thyme. Thyme is like a little twig. The one thing is, when you pick thyme out, you don't want to use the stem. So what you do, you take the leaves out and you can just scrape it out of the stem. Pretty much that's what you do. So you got the stem left. You don't want all the sticks in there. And thyme is one of the best ingredients for clam chowder. So I'm going to do all that. I'm going to take a lot of thyme out of there. You know, they say, there's a song say, you got a lot of time in your hands, and especially this time of the year, staying at home, not working, I have a lot of time in my hands. And time goes by pretty slow. So I have a lot of time in my hands. So this is what I do for the thyme, take it all out, and then I'm going to chop some parsley, and then I'm going to go, and pretty much I'm doing the same thing with the parsley. I took the parsley, I bunch it up nice, and I'm just going to chop it up. And I'm just going to take them both up, and I'm just going to keep chopping. Should be amazing how much parsley we go to at the Hilton. You know, could be chopping a case of parsley a day, because we use parsley in a lot of different things. It's colorful. The Italian parsley even has a lot of flavor to it. So this is pretty much what I do. So this is pretty much what I got. So this is a mixture that's going to go in here towards the end of the seasoning. One thing about when you use fresh ingredients, fresh herbs in your dishes, you throw those in it. Okay, I took the whip out, and now I'm just checking it using a wooden spoon now, because one thing after it becomes a sauce, you don't want to be using the metal against metal. So I'm using a wooden spoon again. You see the consistency here now? There's still a few lumps in there, so the lumps are going to cook away a little bit. So when you're making when you put in a roux of flour and grease or butter or oil, that's what a roux means. You need to cook it for a little bit, like I said, 20 to 30 minutes. Make sure you got all the flour flavor out of it. And meanwhile, what I got over there, I got the potatoes, and the potatoes are still more cooked. I'm going to combine all that soon with the chowder base. Okay, as you can see, the soup looks nice and creamy right now. It looks like the roux is all cooked off, the flour is all cooked off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the cooked potatoes in the juice and all. So I want the potato flavor to go in the soup. I could have thrown the potatoes in there, but I want to keep them whole. I don't want to be breaking them up with the whip or the spoon as I combine the roux to the stock. So I'm just going to throw in there, and then I'm going to throw the chopped clams in there. So pretty much just repeat again. I got about 3 cups of chopped clams, about 6 cups of clam stock. I have 4 potatoes, and so far, about 2 onions. Throw some salt and pepper in there. Make sure when you use pepper, try to use a white pepper, because one thing you don't want to have these black specks on the white sauce. So I always try to use white pepper on the clam chowder. And after you add your potatoes and your clams in there, don't go back to the spoon method. Don't use the whipping aid. You don't want to break up the potatoes in there. And one thing is, that's why I put the clams on the side, the clams at the end, because the clams are already cooked. So don't put the clams in there until. So make your sauce, add your potatoes and your clams to it at the end. Now I'm going to add about 2 cups of light cream. I'm going to throw the parsley and the thyme in there. And that's what it looks like in the pot. In a minute, I'm going to plate up, bowl up an order. Here it is, served. I garnish it with a piece of the. This is the final product, as you're showing me. Thanks again for watching. Come back and see us soon. Enjoy this gorgeous, beautiful dish. It could be perfect for a day like today. Serve with a nice bowl of a loaf of bread. This clam chowder has been around me. It follows me everywhere. It's been in every hotel that I worked in, and it's in our menu at the Hilton. So enjoy it, and come back and see us again soon. Have a good day.